Hello, Steve White, TrekBoy89 for Steve Arts89. Well, I did a video recently on Star Trek Discovery. The bad, horrible, terrible, heartbreaking news that it had been renewed not just for season 4 but season 5, and that they were going to be filming them back to back. Apparently, now I saw a couple of articles reporting this, but the one it came from, Geeks Worldwide, apparently they said it was reported by CBS, and I didn't check myself. I mean, I'm not a journalist, so I'm just commenting. I assumed that it was. Apparently, it wasn't officially announced by CBS, and I don't know if they were making it up or whatever. But basically, it hasn't been officially renewed by CBS for season 5. So that's great news. Now this comes from Midnight's Edge. Now I have a bit of a history of Midnight's Edge and Doomcock and that. I mean, I've been watching them. I got into YouTube by watching those guys talking about Star Trek Discovery, and I kind of feel like they kind of were playing on people's hate and fear about what was happening with Star Trek and Star Trek Discovery a bit. Now, I do respect them. I like them. I watch all their videos still, and I respect them for their passion and their research and all the time and energy they put into it. But I do think they kind of cater to what people want to hear a bit, and people who hate Discovery want to hear it's cancelled and all this, and it's trash. Even if it's okay, they'll still say it's trash, and okay, it's barely been more than okay for random episodes. For the most part, it is trash. But I kind of feel like I kind of got sucked in and told what I wanted to hear a few times. And in the video, the last video they did, they actually state that they've never said Star Trek Discovery was cancelled, and they said it was Discovery was cancelled a few times. Now they may have been reporting on rumor, but they talked about it like it was true and like they were sure of it and they believed it. So that's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. It's not they've never said there was an official announcement or they had proof or anything, which is true because it was not cancelled. Okay, so apparently what is happening, and this is good news, is that basically Netflix, after the first season of Discovery, wanted out because they bought a Star Trek series and they didn't get a Star Trek series. They got some generic sci-fi show with Star Trek's name on it that disrespected the fans and disrespected the history and the philosophy and everything of the original Star Trek and all the other Star Treks or any Star Trek, and didn't have the following and the audience that it should have. They thought they were getting another Star Trek show. They paid for another Star Trek show, and they didn't get it. So they wanted out. They tried to get out, and Bad Robot or CBS said, "No, sorry, you've committed to us. We've committed to this series. We've invested in it. If you pull out, we're gonna charge you a 400 million cancellation fee to basically pay for all the sound stages and the sets and all the things that we've invested in, assuming the show was going to go for so and so years and that you were going to be paying for it." So apparently they went to some sort of arbitration, and they agreed to pay for season 3 in the meantime. Now, I had heard that season 3 had finished in December. I'd seen reports, and then I heard later that it was finishing in February, and I sort of thought, well, that's weird. And I thought, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's finished. I guess people reported it had finished earlier than it had. Maybe, just different sound stages or different sets they'd stopped using or locations or something. So there were different like finishes, I guess, like the location work finished and then the soundstage work finished or something. I didn't really worry about it too much. And then apparently what happened was they went into arbitration, and they finished filming in December, and then after that it was concluded, decided, agreed, whatever, found that Netflix hadn't done anything wrong. They'd given enough notice. They'd paid for the third season. They'd given enough notice to get out, and they didn't actually agree to, because their argument was they didn't agree to the spending and the way it was run, and they didn't basically get what they were promised, and they didn't agree to things that Alex Kurtzman did and Secret Hideout did. So they basically were out, and they're not funding season 4. So with no funding from them, they can't go on. Now Picard. Amazon bought Picard, but they're not happy with the views. It got a lot of attention to begin with because people were very interested in a continuation of Next Generation, which is what we were basically promised. Well, obviously people have seen it now. It's not a continuation of Next Generation. It's not Next Generation. It's not even Star Trek. It's just a generic science fiction show starring Patrick Stewart playing a version of Picard that people don't really understand or relate to or care about, apparently, because ratings have dropped. The views have dropped. People are not looking at it online. People don't care. People have checked out. They've looked. They didn't get what they wanted. They left, apparently. Um, so again, these are all rumors. I mean, some of this is backed up by Google Trends and searches and things, and you can see that interest has dropped. Um, so where are they going to go now? Amazon isn't interested in. They probably don't even want to continue with Picard much longer. Season 2 seems to have been committed to and going forward, but they're obviously not going to pick up Discovery. So Discovery is basically ended. So the February ending was basically they had to go back and rewrite the ending and some of the series because they had set up things for season 4 and done a cliffhanger for season 4. So they had to re-record the ending and give it a final ending and remove some of the scenes that related to something for setting up season 4, and they had to reshoot some stuff, and it now is finished. So apparently it's over. They've finished filming. They're not going to announce it's the end of the series until closer to the episode, and this is what has been reported. This is still rumor. It's still from Midnight's Edge and people like that, but I'm going to believe it, even though I probably shouldn't, because I've believed them before and they weren't always right. They've been right a bunch of times, but not always. Especially right about Star Wars. All the reporting for that was accurate, but some of the Star Trek stuff has been embarrassingly wrong. They reported on a bunch of things on 4chan that were obviously planted lies just to see if they'd report them to make them look bad, and it worked because they reported them as just like they would anything else, and it made them look like their sources are just made up and they're just getting stuff from online like the rest of us. So, and I'm not saying that is what they're doing, but that's how it looked in that example. So, yes, so Netflix is out. Amazon doesn't want to commit to anything more. The show apparently is finished filming. It's the end of the series, end of the season. The other show that is in production, the Lower Decks show, that's because Cartoon Network is paying for it, so that's going to finish and continue on whatever that was funded for. But any talk of other series is really just PR and trying to make CBS look good when they did the investor call or whatever. And after that, all the stocks dropped anyway by a lot. So it's not looking good for Discovery, which is looking good for us, because once they finish the show, anything they start up again will be a fresh start. If they go back into Star Trek in a year or so, in a couple of years, after all this Picard and Discovery rubbish is finished, they won't do it unless they make a change. And the change will have to be going back to the canon Star Trek, the original Star Trek, the Star Trek that has been around for 50 years and is legend and iconic and has, made millions of dollars and is still billions of dollars and is still playing all around the world in syndication and selling DVDs and, views for the original Star Trek and all the other Star Treks are very good in streaming and everything, better than the new Star Treks. So that's what they'll have to do, unless they're going to do, again, their own version of it, but, sticking to the core of what actually Star Trek is, as opposed to hating Star Trek and doing the complete opposite, assuming that the general science fiction audience that doesn't like Star Trek is bigger than the audience for Star Trek fans, which seems to be how Secret Hideout and Bad Robot and JJ and Kurtzman were thinking, and what they were how they were looking at Star Trek. So I'm just hoping this is true. I'm hoping it's done. And I'm hoping once it's gone that, because producing it, they have to stand by it, they have to defend it, they have to keep going. They've got the sets, they've got the people, they've got the contracts, they have to keep going, even if they don't want to. But once they're out and it's finished, they don't have to start anything up unless they want, and when they do, they can do it however they want. So they can make any changes and go back to the original Star Trek, and I hope that's what happens. I want to see Star Trek again. Star Trek means something to me. It's something I believe in. I believe in that philosophy. I believe in our evolution as a species. I believe in that future that we're going to have, and it helps me get through the day. I don't believe in religion. Um, Star Trek is my religion, basically, and this is not uncommon. It's something that a lot of people think and feel. That philosophy of Star Trek is what people believe in, and I want to see it on screen again. I want to see that future again. I want to see it resurrected. I am disgusted that Discovery basically destroyed Starfleet and Star Trek in that sense. And I'm glad it's over. I want it to die. And they should have left it at the end of season 2 and just had them disappear as a mystery. Would have been a great ending, and just gone on for Pike's series instead of doing season 3 of Discovery. That's what they should have done. And maybe that would have done well, and maybe that might have saved them because someone might have wanted to continue on with that. But Discovery, I can understand no one wanted to continue it and it ending, and I hope that's what's happening. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I can't think of anything else. I'm looking at my notes. There's nothing else that I had to mention. No, so feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have any news or any rumours you've heard, let me know. I love hearing rumours and other people's stories and information and news and stuff, and being corrected when I make mistakes. It's all good. So yeah, comments are good. I'm gonna go. Thanks. Bye.